Don't seek perfection. Perfection is futile. Seek everything more. Everything and more. Everything and more. Everything and more. You ain't got far to go. You've been true. You've been everything and more. You're so you. Maybe that's the problem. You've got much too much to do. You ain't got far to go. In fact, you're already there. You're everything and more. You're everything and more, baby. I'm not you. You still search for something more. The heart that's true. Maybe that's the problem. I've got nothing left to lose. I ain't got far to go. In fact, I'm already there. It's everything and more. Everything and more. You wanted everything, but I wanted everything more. Now it's true. Back where I started. Life is everything and more. You're still you. You haven't changed. Baby, there's no problem. You just live with what you choose. We ain't got far to go. In fact, we're already there. Everything and more. Everything and more. Everything and more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything and more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything and more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything more. Everything and more. You're everything and more, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, corn dog lovers of all ages, welcome to In the Box with your hosts, Matt and Adam.
Everybody get.
Good evening, MASL In The Box, live Monday, June 7th, 2021. It appears Matt is not with us yet. I think he may have gotten a phone call. Just kind of replace him here for a second. Mr. Corndog, how is it this week?
I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog.
All right, so how's everyone doing out there? Brad, nice to see you. It's been a couple weeks here. Feels like we haven't had a string of shows in a while. We had the end of the season. We took a week off. After somewhere on there, we took another week off for some other reason. We had a show, and now we've had 2 weeks off, and now we're back on to a show again. So here we are. I'm just killing time here waiting for Matt. Not sure if anyone noticed, there was a couple things that may have happened in the last week in the MASL. I am lonely. It's John Travolta looking around. Just me. I don't know if I can do this show by myself. I don't know what to talk about. There's such a delay in the time I say something to when you guys type, when I reply, that it's almost not like having a conversation. Should we just stare at Matt and wait for him for a while? No, that won't work. So I do have some kind of cool news. We are trying to get the top 3 new people in the MSL that we'll be talking about in a second on the show. Starting with Milwaukee Wave coach, legend, indoor soccer legend Keith Tozer, hopefully next week. We are still working through all the details, getting all the things coordinated, and we're going to hope next week we can do it. And then we'll look to get the other guys on possibly the week after that. Stay tuned. Not much going on in the group right now because it's the off season, but we'll see what happens. Where's Matt? Send him a hot. I just probably have no idea what that is. What's going on? Someone give me something to talk about. I'll wait here patiently. Or not so patiently. Or did Matt just go into the chat to watch? He wants to see how long I can talk to myself here. Entertaining those of you in the chat. Nothing. We got nothing. Yeah, I know, Brad. I'm really hoping. For me as a Wave fan, I only came in like the last season and a half that Tozer was coach. So for me, I'm really a new school Wave fan. Remember Tozer from being involved in the Wave, year after year after year. He used to be on like the local radio show and things like that all the time. But to get a chance to talk to him and interview him and find out what his plans are for the league would be great. See what we can do there. So let's see, what other news do we have other than that? I see the MASL Facebook page. Yeah, I watched that game. I was just going to talk about that game. The U.S. versus Mexico last night was insane. Mexico scored, 70 seconds in? 80 seconds in? On just a complete botched defensive play. McKenzie for U.S. looked kind of weak all night. Did have a couple decent plays, but just you could tell they were targeting him all night. And U.S. tied that one up. It's it's not necessarily teal. It's more like turquoise, but we'll give you teal. It's the closest thing I have to a teal shirt other than my ambush. Actually, I have a Mercedes F1 jersey that's teal. A little bit lighter than the ambush teal. The ambush jersey is my closest teal. But anyway, yeah, U.S. Second half, both teams scored again. Both teams had a penalty. Pulisic scored. Guy from Mexico didn't kick as well, and backup goalkeeper came in. I don't know what Zach Steffen, what his injury's like. If it's because it looked not very good. It was one of those weird no contact things that could be ACL. Hopefully not. Yeah, Brad, definitely agree. Didn't like to see the trash being thrown on the field and bottles hitting players in the heads and stuff like that. even though a lot of the U.S. guys were like, "Oh, they got justice because they hit their own guy in the head later on." Yeah, it doesn't. We shouldn't have that at all. And there were so many of them that I don't know if security could have dealt with everybody. What was interesting to me is the MASL Facebook today congratulated the team and talked about how Pulisic's dad was coach of Detroit and played for Harrisburg back in the day. And yet there were several MASL players on their respective countries' futsal squads in the Futsal World Cup qualifier, and not a single mention from the MASL Facebook page. Hey, Matt, you just joined during one of my little rants here.
So I kind of got the tail end of it. Yeah, it's kind of really weird how you make ties with the U.S. national team, but you don't even mention your own players.
Yeah. Especially the MVP of your own league played for Team Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
There was
Gio.
not even like the futsal and the beach World
Yes.
Cup. There
Yeah.
was no
I missed
mention at all. So.
I missed all the beach stuff. By the way, Shelly, hi. I was replying to you before, but I never officially said hi.
Hi, Shelly.
We got Brad, we got Gio, we got Shelly, we have the whole crew here.
Wait, who? Brad, Shelly, and who was the other one?
Giovanni Monterasso. Oh, some guy I've never heard of him before.
Oh yeah, Bob. We should probably just
Probably a bot. We should delete him. Right click, report. Oh, we could put user in timeout.
Oh my god. Anytime Gio says the word Dallas, just time him.
It's timeout. 30 seconds. You're out. You're out.
You're out.
So yeah, that was interesting. Like, did you watch that game last night?
No.
It went into almost into penalty kicks.
I saw Pulisic scored, but
Yeah. So his remind me to not look at the Facebook comments when I see a post that's potentially controversial, because nothing good can happen in the Facebook comment section. Hey Dante, how's it going? It's just like a cesspool of nonsense, and all the Mexican fans were talking about the bullshit penalty against Pulisic, but when they replayed it, it was very, very clearly a foul, and very, very clearly well within the box. And then the U.S. penalty was even less clear, because the guy was spinning around, moving his hand to his side, and the ball hit his hand, and they gave him a penalty for that. But then Mexico missed their penalty kick.
now do they use VAR during those games, or was it just?
This was the first game of this type that had VAR in it.
Okay, well, there was replay, so
Right.
I would imagine. Whatever. Yay, go U.S. Soccer. U.S. soccer seems to be doing okay right now. I mean,
Well, like
futsal-
Brad said, U.S. looked really bad early. They gave up a goal 70 seconds in. Like,
Yeah.
in an outdoor game, 70 seconds in, all the players I don't even think are on the field yet by that point.
Yeah,
It's just-
I think the refs are like still warming up.
yeah, right. They're doing the...
All the fans are still in the concession stand waiting to get their corn dogs. And,
Yeah, they're, dog frisbee is still going on and stuff like that. But there was some very, very suspect defending, especially early on. Oh yeah, first CONCACAF game with VAR, Brad says.
Yeah, so I mean that's good. It's all facets of soccer have been doing well so far. So
Yeah,
good for them.
good for them. Before we get into MASL stuff, I want to. A couple of you may have received a friend request from a guy named Ken Ezerim. I've been talking to Ken now for 3 or 4 weeks. He's a good guy. He's from Africa. He runs the Yegezi Foundation, which, if you remember last summer, we had Donna on and Donna's Internet. In fact,
Yeah, it's pretty much.
the problem is I can't stop this sound effect once it starts.
So
Donna's
we just
almost
talked.
connected to the internet.
Yep. No connection. Try one failed.
Oh, okay, we're live.
Okay, we're good.
But anyway, Donna's friend Bulla was from Girl Power Africa, and they're a foundation that helps girls in Africa, both with schools and soccer and things like that. Ken runs almost the exact kind of organization for boys in Africa. So I told him we would definitely have him on the show later this summer. I also told him I'd give him a shout out. I will paste the foundation in the URL in the chat here, and go check it out. It looks like he's doing good things, and all around good guy. Been talking. So I've been talking to a guy from Nigeria, and he hasn't asked me for my bank account info. So there's some hope out there for everyone.
There is, absolutely.
And I couldn't help myself making that joke. I tried, but I couldn't do it. So I 2-minute penalty on me. Ooh, that's loud.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're in the box.
Yeah.
So I want to give, since you're giving a shout out, I want to give a shout out to Soccer Sam. A couple weeks ago, I was in Rochester. Spent the weekend in Rochester, and hooked me up with some cannoli donuts from Donuts Delight. Very, 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 very good.
Sweet baby.
If you are within a 1 hour radius of Donuts Delight, you need to go there, check it out. Really, really good. I didn't get a chance to try the pizza. There was an $8 delivery fee, but I have been promised a personalized delivery the next time I'm out in Rochester. So
I mentioned one thing to Sam, and he mailed me 6 cannoli donuts, and they were amazing.
Yeah,
they were very, very, very good. And I've never had a donut like that. They're very, very fluffy, whatever the word. I think pluffy is the right word.
I didn't think I took a picture of the donuts. I took a picture of the building, and that was about it.
Like, donuts are in here. Go look at the donuts in here. So, big news this last, we haven't talked in 2 weeks. Memphis Americans signed Corey Adamson for their first ever in this iteration, head coach and first player signing. And I know we weren't going to really talk about the NISL much, but we might as well talk. This crosses over to MASL. My first thought was Corey, and my second thought was, that's brilliant. Corey's like one of the best people I've ever had the privilege of talking to. And I have met him in person because he played for the Wave for one season. And so I think that was a great decision. It sounds like they're going to make it work so he can still do his Juventus club in St. Louis, because he has a lot of ties there, and that's pretty much the other half of his life. But he's going to coach both the men's and women's teams in Memphis, and he's going to play on the Memphis team. So congrats to Corey. Cliff Johnson is in the house. Hey, Cliff, how's it going?
Cliff.
But yeah, congratulations to Corey on that. That's a big honor. Keep a lot of our reservations about the league and what's going on aside.
Real quick, they did announce their second team, so I would imagine they would play each other 15 times.
Alec, from what I heard, it's going to be him coaching both men's and women's, but he's only going to play on the men's team. I think
It could be like Ladybugs.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually saw that. I can't believe he brought that reference out, and I got it right away. So yeah, so Memphis Americans is in Tennessee, obviously. The Fayetteville Fury. So we have another Fury team. But is this one in Canada? Is this the Canadian Fury team?
No.
So we still don't have a Fury team in Canada.
Well, there's the outdoor Ottawa Fury.
What about...
Welcome to Ontario International Airport.
That's not Canada?
That is not Canada. I mean, Ottawa is in Ontario, Canada, but not in Ontario, California, near the Ontario International Airport.
But Fayetteville's not in Canada,
No,
but they're called the Fury.
right. There's a Fayetteville, New York.
Are they
At
called
first
the
I thought-
Fury?
No,
Are they in Canada?
close, but no.
I don't think they count. But anyway, I did a quick maps check, and those two teams are 750 miles between each other. So even farther away than where San Diego was going to go for their home games this last season.
So this is a question we're going to have to ask towards the beginning of next season. Where is San Diego going to play? Because
Right.
I mean, their arena's not going to be open for a couple of years.
I think the 2023 season, but is that 2022/23 or 23/24? They may have to figure out stuff for 2 seasons.
Yeah. So that is for another day.
For another day, another time, maybe another
Well-
league by then.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I'm trying to think of any other things.
Um,
Well, the M2 season's winding down. Playoffs are coming up.
Cleveland Crunch finally got beat,
Yeah, Wichita
Twice.
in overtime.
and they lost
Wich-
to
Wichita, and then it was Omaha.
yes. I need an indoor fix, and I was looking on. I don't even remember what I was going to watch on YouTube. Probably a pool match. I've been watching not old, but with 5 or 6 years old pool matches online. One pocket and straight pool and some 9-ball and 10-ball. And it showed up the Wichita Wings live. So I put it on and I gave it almost 15 full seconds before I couldn't stand the video and I turned it off. It was just, I can't do it. And then I turned the other game on yesterday and it was like, I don't want to watch a game through a net. There we go. There. I can't.
Yeah,
It's almost like we have a camera angle for that.
we probably do. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the seating is and everything like that, but interesting to see Cleveland doing so well without having no real MASL
Yeah.
players.
I mean, we had talked a couple seasons ago about when the visa problems first started. There was a lot of talk about, well, you got to get local talent, you got to build up. There's a lot of local talent, build it up. I think some people didn't believe it, and I think Cleveland's proving that it's possible. Now we'll see if they can get up and compete in M1, but based on what I've seen and the talent, I don't see any reason why they couldn't. Especially if they keep that core group together and they play for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, so
together.
it's kind of similar to what Rochester's going through right now.
Yeah, but Cleveland doesn't have donuts like that.
Well, Cleveland's got really good cheeseburgers. One of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had was in actually it was in Akron, Ohio. But
Never been in Cleveland. Was in Cincinnati, somewhere else, but never in Cleveland.
drove by Huber Heights, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland.
Why didn't you live there?
They kicked me out.
Oh, I knew a guy named Dan. He lived in Danville, California. Like, how did that happen? How did that work?
Did you win? Did
Yeah.
you win the city at auction?
So Alex says the Sockers could just do what the Chargers did and play in a stadium designed for a totally different sport. So doesn't San Diego have a baseball team that they
Petco Park.
could play in the outfield somewhere? I mean, they already practice outside, and then we
Yeah.
could we'd have to change the name of the damn league again to MSSL, the Major Stadium Soccer League.
Yes, and you would have to field a team that's you have to put it in an outfield of
Right.
a baseball field.
Your field has to fit between third base and the foul line or the wall.
Yeah.
or second base on the
that's
foul line.
bold. That's a bold strategy. I mean,
I think it would work. It'd be harder for teams in
or
like Wisconsin
would
or even New York.
would Baltimore's field just be the dugout?
Right. I mean, there's walls. It's already there. It's like
Yeah.
mostly
So
built.
I mean, it's pretty much the same size. So
It is. Oh, you know, we forgot to talk about.
well,
The MASL announced a new commissioner and leadership team.
really?
I was ready to like call the show and I totally forgot about that. Can't believe we almost forgot about that.
Oh my goodness!
So, for those
Is
of
that all
you,
we say? We just say they hired a committee and then leave.
they hired a committee.
And good night.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure all four people in chat were it was an upheaval, and,
Well, there's-
and they were.
There's 8 now. It's been alternating
Oh.
between 8 and 9. You guys got to pick it up. It's like it was really cool when we had COVID. Nobody had anything to do, and you could watch a show. But now, like, I feel like priorities are made, and we're not being made a priority. Now, I don't blame you because I wouldn't make us a priority either. But where's I going with this?
I have no idea.
Okay, I forget. So anyway, as your new MASL commissioner is longtime Milwaukee Wave coach, most winningest coach in indoor soccer, I believe, Keith Tozer. The league chairman, okay, full disclosure here. I know a lot about Keith Tozer. I know almost next to nothing about the other two. So we have Shep Messing, who's been an announcer for the New York Red Bulls, first player drafted by the MISL back in 1863. Is that right?
I think it's 1864.
Should we call him up and ask? Hang on.
Great.
Hello?
Now you're ruining Donna's internet.
No, that was just the phone dialing. That wasn't the.
Okay.
But no, so league chairman and JP Della Camera, who is a long-time ESPN soccer announcer who's announced like 6 World Cups or a large number of things, is president of communications and media. There's a really good article out there. Front Row Soccer did one, and actually the Milwaukee, one of the Milwaukee news stations, who we can't get them to cover the Wave at all, did an article and interview with Keith. And Keith said it was the three of them kind of came together. You know, because we never, as fans, we don't hear how these people are hired. We just get the announcement that, you know, we hear rumors, announcement's coming soon, and we hear rumors of names, and we hear rumors of ridiculous things that may have happened or may not have happened. And then also we get this news release. It sounds like from what Keith said, and we'll ask him about this next week, maybe. Get to that in a second. That He said the three of them have been contacting us, so let's take this thing on together, and they proposed that MASL hire the three of us. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. So let's just talk about next week. Do you wanna just?
So here's the plan.
We have a plan A and a plan B.
Here's the plan from the way I see it. Next week we'll have Keith Tozer on. 2 weeks from now we'll have Shep and JP on. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I think I personally know more about Keith Tozer than I do about either of the others. And I think it'll be an easier connection to make rather than having all 5 of us on at the same time. And yeah, Brad says that Shep and JP are huge soccer names in the country. And Adam says he wants to start seeing schedules come out and signings of players. And Cliff said he's usually in bed by 9, otherwise we'd be a priority. So we have Cliff for 7 seconds.
All right, let's sing a lullaby. Blast.
Do I have that?
Blast.
I have this. That actually shakes
No,
my.
I think the drums and the MASL.
he just hung up on us probably. The Capelli one actually shakes my room down here.
Really?
And probably Mandy's room because it's right above me. Hi, Mandy.
So,
Everyone say hi to Mandy.
hi, Mandy. So if something does happen
Yes.
where we can't get him on, Tommy Tanner wants to come on the show and kind of go over like how the process was.
Yeah.
Getting those three guys.
And we'll do that anyway. So over the next 3 weeks, we're either going to have that or Tommy in any of whatever order over the next 3 weeks.
Right.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Cliff says, the drums did it, I'm out.
So I know that you love this. I know you love this. This is, am I right? You like the
What are we talking about again?
the commissioner, the committee. You like?
There's a lot of so okay, so I wrote some notes down as I usually do.
Yes.
So I read notes in our group, in that other group, in the MSL page, and in probably 7 or 8 different team pages that posted it. I haven't caught up and read them. I read them all on Thursday and a little bit on Friday. Haven't caught up to the weekend. Thanks, Paul Lapointe, for replying to every single damn message with the same thing, which I don't even remember what it was anymore, but he must have replied a dozen times to all the different posts.
I think I blocked him, so frankly, I have no idea.
I started keeping Paul Lapointe quotes a while ago, and I have them somewhere. I don't know where they are. But I don't know what I was going to do with those. But every single comment I saw was positive. My first thought, I'm not an outdoor soccer person other than when Mandy used to play. So I like Barcelona, I like Brazil, I like US's average to bad. I like watching games when they come on. I don't go out of my way to watch. I watched Chelsea win Champions League, but I have 2 Man City jerseys and I don't know any of the players on Man City. I just happen to buy them because they look cool. So I don't know the names Shep Messing and JP Dellacamera other than in passing in different groups and different things like that. But the fact that so many people do and so many good comments about there, because my first thought was we got a guy who's 64, 69, and 71 running this thing. Like, do we have to is this how we're calling him up for next week? I was concerned, but I think the fact that so many people are on board with so many good comments about it, being like a serious move for the MASL. My first thought was, oh man, we're going to get, the fans are going to rip this apart because it just seems like we should be entering a new age, but I think it's a really good choice.
Yeah. So when we first talked, I said I kind of was feeling the opposite. But now that I've had time to think about it and process everything, and you hit it right on the head, that my first thought was, okay, the average age is like 65 to 70. I'm like, I don't know if they have the pulse of the current MASL.
That was exactly my concern, yeah.
But
but
you're looking at a guy that, Keith Tozer, a legend in his own right, a manager, announcer. You name it, he's done it. Shep Messing, JP Dellacamera, I actually know that they are big. They were big announcers back 80s and 90s. So JP Dellacamera, being president of communications, that's awesome. I honestly don't know a lot about Shep Messing, but I guess he was a really good player back when indoor soccer started. So he knows the sport as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was worried about is having someone at the helm who doesn't know a lot about the sport.
Yes.
And I think those three they have so much experience to bring to the table as opposed to Josh Schaub. Nothing against Josh, but he also had minor league baseball on his plate and everything else. So the three of them focusing on just MASL, I think is good. And plus, I mean, we're already getting league exposure.
Yeah, the big kind of revelation that I had was can't judge anything that these guys are going to do because they haven't done it. We haven't given them a chance to do anything. So I'm just going to back away and be supportive and do whatever we can to help. And there were a couple concerns that came out that I saw other people post. One was sent to me today was this obviously isn't a long-term venture for these guys because of their ages, but you can take in a 5-year period with 3 guys of this caliber working really, really hard at it all the time and take this to a complete next level so you can hand it off to someone and say, here you go. We've built it up for you, now take it from here. So I don't have a concern about that. I did see one really, 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 really funny post. I don't even remember who it was. It was in another group, and it said that the MASL was forced to do something like this because of the threat of the NISL. I have a couple sound effects for that. Okay.
Why did you play that last one?
I don't know. It was just there. So, yeah, I don't think that's a concern. We'll get into the NISL later, and we'll let them play a game first, and then we'll make some real comments about it. The biggest thing that I like about this is that these 3 names are out front as the committee, the 3-tier, whatever we're calling them, that are running the league. Whereas what we had before was like a 75 to 25 baseball soccer guy who was no soccer experience and a bunch of kind of unnamed people in the background doing things. We knew who some of them were, but there were still names that would come up every once in a while in conversations. Oh yeah, John's working on this. I mean, who the hell is John? Why haven't we heard John as a name? And I won't say the last name. You know who I'm talking about. Like, why haven't we heard that name in the 4 years that he's been behind the scenes doing this? I love the fact that we have now 3 big time names. They're up front. No one's going to be hiding. They're all going to be, the face of this game now. So I'm excited. I'm definitely. I didn't know what was going to happen. We're going to announce a new commissioner. Well, what does that mean? Who's that going to be? Is it going to be someone like? And I don't want to pick on St. Louis here, Shelley, so I'm not picking on you. But like Greg Muir was announced in St. Louis. I did the same thing. I read all the comments, and I read like 100 comments in a row. They were all positive. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. I'm not like I'm negative about it, but I'm just indifferent. I didn't want that to be the case for the commissioner in the league. But I didn't really know many names that I thought could fit the position just because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, I think with anything in life, I think if an announcement's made about something, I mean, take for example the MASL committee. I think a lot of people jump to conclusions pretty quick. So right out the gate, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. They haven't even done anything yet.
Right.
So, like, if, for example, like tomorrow, Keith Tozer comes out and says, hey, we're going to install multi-point scoring system into the league. Now, I'm on board 100%. 110%, I'm on board. No.
Survey says.
No, we could play a clip of you pretty much saying, oh, they should do 3-point goals or 3 points behind the yellow line, 2 points for any. So I don't even want to hear it.
There was reasoning behind that. I had total reasoning behind that.
Yeah, but you said it.
It was made out of necessity based on a rule change I wanted to make. So the thing was, instead of a top of the arc restart, it's a shootout opportunity, but it's a 1-point goal for a shootout.
Yep. And then 2 points and then 3 points, which is multi-point. Those are.
But if you score from the 37th yard line while holding a corn dog, it's 4 points.
Right. But I think that I'm going to hold off on. I think it's a good idea. I think with those three names, I think the league is definitely going places. It's definitely not going to be competing with any other leagues. Whoever said that just put their foot in their mouth, considering they only have 2 teams.
But rumor has it they will double in size before they start.
Wow.
4 teams.
Wow.
So
That's,
I did post. I want to get in the habit of not ignoring it, people in the chat and in the group. I posted, please stop by with questions, because there's nothing else to talk about. And this kind of leads into what we've just been talking about. Glenn Maddock is definitely an old school fan for sure. I think he's a San Diego fan. He said, "With the league, will the league in current form be back this winter?" I think. I don't know what current form means. I think it would be more previous form than the last season current form. I think.
I think you're going to see all of the U.S. teams coming back. I don't know about Mexico and the whole border situation.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty hopeful that all of the other teams will be back. I can safely say Utica will definitely be back. They started having hockey games at the Odd, and things are opening back up here. So
yeah, someone broke into the Milwaukee Wave offices and sent out a season ticket holder email letting us know that we're able to buy tickets and things. So that happened.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything yet from.
I'm already paid up, and I just rolled over from last season and said, "Here, just go with it." The other question he said, "Well, with what clubs and where?" So I think we figured that out. I would say all the U.S. clubs minus I think Orlando's finally off of the MASL site, and then the 2 with the potential of adding a third Mexican team is probably right in limbo right now. But there's still 6 months before a first game. I think they're gonna. I would guess they're gonna hold the door open as long as they can. The other question he had was, with other indoor leagues popping up, what's the strategy to deal with that? And my comment on that is there is not an issue until there's an issue.
Yeah,
and
as of right now, the other league, the NASL, is basically based out of the Southeast, which there's only one team that's in the Southeast, and that's Florida.
Ooh.
So
You guys can have them. Take
with the
them.
trade, trade.
We'll trade you Orlando and Florida for a box of corn dogs.
I'm in. But I mean, you've got every other area of the country covered by MASL, and I think when Andrew said he wasn't trying to go after MASL players, I think kind of pulling teams into the Southeast is a way of doing that.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean they have a giant gap, because even though it's Southeast, it's like I said, it's 750 plus miles between the 2 teams. They need something right in the middle of there. There's a number of markets that could fit that.
Yep.
Pretty easily. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay there?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's an issue until there's an issue. We'll still talk about it every week probably, even though we say we're not going to talk much about it. But like strategizing with brand new leadership, trio was the word. I can't remember. I forgot the word trio. It's just one of those brain.
Yeah, brain thing. I got you.
But the last thing they're going to be worried about day one is, what do we do with this new league that has 2 teams? And they're going to plan on holding people in the arenas for 5 hours watching 2 games back to back.
It's
Wouldn't worry
brutal.
about it. Not a concern as far as I'm concerned. How do
Yep.
you get that? So, the one other comment I had is I saw a lot of comments from fans saying, "Oh, this is great. I remember when he played on the 1964." Um, I had a good city name picked out for this, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember anymore. But he played in the 80s. He played in the 90s. This was great. But the big question to be answered: do they have what it takes to bring the league into relevance in the 2020 era? I've already heard a comment that, one of them said, "Oh yeah, we got to bring the word indoor back into the league." I really hope they don't spend the time and money and effort to rebrand the league again with yet another name. Just keep what it's doing and make things happen. But we'll see what happens in the next.
Yeah, I really want to hear those interviews that they had on Sirius Radio. I mean, that's why I said. I mean, they're coming right out of the gates pretty hot, going on Sirius Satellite Radio and talking about it. So there's some exposure there.
Jonathan says the triumvirate, so it's there we go.
The triumvirate.
So I made a joke, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the 3 people that are going to be our new triumvirate or the Illuminati of MASL. But I just, based on all the comments, I remember this from this day, I remember this from this, and you know how we pick on the old other group a lot, because why not? It's fun. My first thought was, and I think I wrote this right to you, I'm like, okay, the last thing I want to see is, well, congratulations, we're going to start a radio and a newspaper campaign to bring this league into the light of everyone. And I said that as a joke, and then the first thing that was on was a radio interview. Now, granted, Sirius XM, it's not radio, isn't radio.
It could have been seriously, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like carrier pigeon and smoke signals.
It's true. That's true.
So I mean, you gotta start somewhere, and they skipped right over those 2 things and just.
I had a carrier pigeon once.
I don't want to know where this is going, but okay.
I ended up selling on eBay for like 24 times in a row. Oh, Shelly says, I think you can listen.
Now I know why you left.
Yeah. Shelly says, I think you can listen free June 8th on Sirius Channel 157. Pretty sure you can listen to the recorded spots. So that's tomorrow. I don't know how to listen to Sirius. I've never really been Sirius. I'm not sure how to listen to something Sirius.
I used to work for Sirius Satellite Radio. Fun fact. We had a guy call in pretty much on the daily, asking about the dog, that the little logo, the dog, if we fed it and gave it water and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what we said. We're like,
So what do we do with that knowledge? There's some people out there with nothing to do. Welcome, MASL family.
Welcome, MASL family.
Yeah. We're hoping.
Thank you for tuning in as your 5th option, because your 4 other options kind of went by the wayside.
Oh, Shelly says Sirius is doing a free trial, so you could sign up for the free trial, listen to it, and then just cancel it.
Ooh, I might have to do that.
I have to do that. I've heard a rumor that there might be something else, and she says Google it. Well, I won't do it right now, but I heard a rumor there might be some more news coming tomorrow. I don't know if that's just it came from the same person who gave me the information about what is now our triumvirate Illuminati trio of leadership. You can get a logo with that on it?
Probably could.
Maybe. I'm not getting a corn dog trophy again. I've learned that lesson.
Yeah, you probably.
Well, yeah, so Adam Grosskreutz has a really good point, and this is where I was getting at before. So over in the last year, I've tried to, or the last 2 years, tried to make myself a more positive person overall. The cynic in me is not going to like anything that happens because I think there's a better way to do it, or even worse, I don't have a better way to do it, but I think that way's wrong. And I'm trying to get that whole thinking just out of my head. And Adam says, even though you have years of knowledge in the game coming to run the league, just remember they won't be able to fix every problem in 1 week, so be patient as they bring the game back. I would even extend that out to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, there's some things that us as fans think is a no-brainer and should just happen that really aren't that easy to do. Like, I mean, I come down on the broadcast quality and this. There's a lot of things go. You have old infrastructure in some of these arenas. You have bad internet connections. You have these weird, we talked about this a little bit last year, these weird like union contracts, or last season, I guess. I don't know what month it even is. June already? Okay. You know, if you have like union contracts running the arenas, you have no control over what they do. You are maybe stuck into a multi-year contract with an arena. They fire their entire squad. They hire a bunch of high school kids to run it and they don't know what they're doing. And there's all these things that are not immediately fixed or able to be immediately fixed that me need to be a little more cognizant of. And I'm still gonna just beat the doors down about the broadcast quality. I will never stop doing that. Especially after watching, like, you know, we saw Wichita in the Central Cup, what, 15 and a half years ago in COVID days?
Yeah.
And their broadcast was terrible, and they had the exact same thing this last weekend. Like, for me, there's no call for that. And I would rather just have them not even broadcast than broadcast something that poorly. Because that just puts a bad name on the game altogether. I'd rather have them have a cell phone quality broadcast that looks like it's cell phone quality than have every other aspect try to be beefed up with decent announcing and commercials and graphics, and then just the worst camera quality ever.
So would you rather have Wichita's broadcast, Florida's broadcast, or El Paso's broadcast?
See, this isn't fair. So Dante, worst broadcast in the league. If we're going last season, Florida, and it's not even close. Not anywhere near close. Like Florida is in like 50th place, and there were only 7 teams in the league. That's how bad it was. The previous season, notes on this.
I want to say previous season was, well, besides Baltimore.
No, Baltimore fixed their stuff last season.
I just felt like saying Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. So
Mesquite's was kind of shoddy.
Worst one in the league, and I'm sorry, Gio, and I'm sorry, Juan, was Monterey. They had a really, really bad video quality. It was interlaced. It was, so if you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s, you'd try to rip a DVD, you get like the artifacting, where you get like, instead of a straight white line, you could actually see the zigzag. That's what their whole video looked like. And that's just a poor camera quality issue there. So previous season of that, so 2018 and 19.
I would honestly I'd go Mesquite. I mean, there were times where there was no audio. It just seemed out of sorts. I mean, it was new. It was new for them. But I would say Mesquite would probably be there. Turlock. Yeah, I mean,
but Turlock had great video quality as far as the picture quality. It was terrible camera angles and the whole. You could bring an HD camera in and film in that rec center and it would still look bad. But yeah, they're in the bottom there. So the year before, so 2018-19, El Paso I had worst.
the El Paso toilet quality.
I had Baltimore second worst because of their lag, their 5 to 10 second lag behind, the audio and video. And then Turlock was third worst, and then Monterey was fourth worst. And I think that was the year Dallas. No, that wasn't the year Dallas. So it was a year where Dallas, their camera guy kept following the cheerleaders around from a very inappropriate angle throughout the crowd, and that was the feed that they would put over the internet broadcast. Year before that, 2017-18, I had Cedar Rapids as the worst. Anybody remember the old Atari 2600 game where something happened with their video and it got all crunched down to this and it looked like little 8-bit graphics?
Yeah, so there have been some interesting. I mean, I'll say the quality over the years has gotten better.
By exponentially better. I will still pick on them just because I know the type of quality that we should be expecting and we should be able to get in these days. But over the years, it's gotten so much better.
Yeah, I remember seeing old Syracuse Silver Knights games, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Yes. Yes.
It wasn't just the video; it was the audio. It sounded like you were going through a drive-through.
Yep.
It was like a cable access.
So we got a good question here. Alec had a good point, and I agree with this. He always thought Turlock did a great job with what they have. There was something very, very special watching Mario announce a Turlock broadcast. He's insane in a really, really good, energetic way. And I think not having that in the league, I think it's better for the league as a whole, but I think for like a nostalgic thing, you can't just lose that. We need
more Mario.
We need more Mario. So Coach Bugart, which is the greatest name ever, asked a question that I don't know how to answer.
So you're gonna give it to me? Okay.
I'm giving it to you. What do you think is the first thing the new leadership should look at fixing? And he's put broadcasting in question mark.
I mean, that is definitely a good question. I personally think broadcasting. I think exposure should be a priority. Like how do we get more people to watch? So maybe revisit the YouTube versus Facebook platform. I mean, there's a few other things that you could throw in there. Scheduling, like start doing the schedule a little earlier. The less travel for teams, the better. But it's kind of tough when you don't have that southeast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
We'll get into this. So Alec, thank you for watching. We owe you a show. Because we were going to have Alec on tonight, but we actually decided to do a 1 hour show and we're coming up on that in 2 minutes. So we'll get. I have a lot of thoughts here, so we're not going to get it done in 2 minutes. Sorry, man. Alec had an amazing show about, or video that he put together about expansion, and he went into it like almost how I've done this, like soundboard. And by the way, Jonathan,
slippery balls.
He went way in depth in it, and I never really thought until actually Jay mentioned it the first time that travel is to really, or the expansion is really to alleviate travel issues. Because you can put teams in between existing teams and kind of cut down on travel costs there. Never really thought of it that way until he pointed out. I'm like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. Why didn't I think of that before? But I want to say the one thing I want to fix, and we'll call it team image. These teams need to take themselves seriously and put out a professional product all the time. They need to be on social media because that's where the people are these days. They need to be active in their communities because that's where the people are these days. They need to have a good quality broadcast because that's what people watch. They need new turf if their turf looks like it's been through like some. Yes. They need to not look like Florida. They need to put an image out that the whole league would be proud of. Mike Zimmerman from Milwaukee Wave owner said it a number of times publicly that product like Florida's devalues the entire league because if you're, I used to call it's a Simpsons reference. I used to be in a band and we called people that were trying to write music for, Joe Lunchbox and Sally Paycheck. And if Joe Lunchbox turns on a soccer game, not having any idea what the sport is about, and he sees Florida with no audio and the referee's ass for 30 seconds, he's gonna think this sport is a joke because that's his first ever, first impressions last. Don't judge a book by its cover. No, that's not how the world works. You see something on TV that looks like crap, you're never gonna go back and watch that. The diehard fans are going to watch it and they're going to make excuse. Oh, it looked fine on my phone. But Joe Lunchbox opens it up for the first time and sees that. He's never coming back. He opens it up and he sees the bright blue turf, the corn dog, and the soothing voices of Nick and Eric in KC. He's coming back. So that's my little rant on what the teams need to do. Dante says, do you think the league should get a TV deal with ESPN Plus? So my concern about TV deals is where you enter them and what kind of network you enter. I mean, we've seen this, and I've even made this comment like, ESPN has axe throwing and cornhole on it. Why can't they have indoor soccer? Wouldn't we want to be on a network that's more dedicated to soccer, like a beIN Sports or CBS Sports or Paramount Plus or something like that? I think that's probably a better fit for the league than ESPN, where we're going to, first time you're on ESPN, you're going to get like a 2 a.m. Wednesday morning slot, and they're going to play a 2-hour game edited down to an hour from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe in due time, I think that's like a huge jump right now. So I would say take baby steps. beIN Sports would be great. NBC Sports Plus. It's good that some of these teams actually have local TV deals, which I think more teams should look into.
Yeah, especially the regional. The Fox, the NBC, and CBS all have regional networks that they could get on. I don't think it's so. And Dante, you worded that question in a way that I think a lot of fans think about it. I don't think the league. How do I word this? It's not that the league needs to get a deal. The league needs to present themselves in a way that they have a product that a TV deal will want to come to them.
Yep.
Because otherwise, what happens is you get, how much do you want to have to pay to put your product on TV, where there are other markets where if you market it the correct way, and other networks, I should say, if you market it the correct way, they will want you to be on theirs because you can show, hey, we were on, bad example, we were on 11 Sports and we got 700,000 viewers in one week, or whatever the numbers may be, or we're on Facebook and we had 22,000 views for one of our free games. Those kind of numbers, then somebody will take notice to. And like Andrew Haynes said, they're going to say, well, show me your worst. Show me what we can expect the worst broadcast to be, because that's your benchmark for TV. And that's why I get, I get so wound up on these things. Because if you show them Florida from last season, no one's going to buy that. And why would the league pay to put that product on TV? I would pay to hide that product from TV if I were the league.
And that's, I think with the committee, I think each member of that committee could work on something different.
Oh, absolutely. And that's
so yeah.
KP
Delacarra could definitely get maybe like a set standard for the league, saying this is what you need to produce. And then Keith Tozer could deal with, I don't know, expansion or exposure or something like that, and Chet Messing could, you know what I mean? Just I think each one has their strengths, and I think they'll use them to their best of their abilities. And
Yeah, Adam also brought up a really good point that I didn't even think of was hoping one of them will stay on top of visa and visa issues. I don't know what can be solved, but there has to be a better way of handling it rather than some of these guys just their livelihoods and their families and their entire existences are being uprooted and turned upside down. And I think it needs to be done. I would hate to see the league do, and granted, this is going to work really well for Cleveland, but I hate to see the entire league go into a Cleveland mode where it's all local talent, and now there's no international flair. I mean, it's amazing watching these international players in our league.
yeah,
And it's even more amazing watching them integrate into the community and coaching the kids and being a pillar of youth soccer, as well as then all their kids get to go watch them play. And you just, it's, when we're at games, it's not maybe as enjoyable as I'm saying it now, but listening to a group of 40 10-year-old girls yell, "We love you, Ian," at the top of their lungs. There's something just magical about that.
no, they shouldn't do that during a game. I'm trying to watch it. I just get
The dance moms don't like that. They're too busy on their phones and talking about, could you believe what she did to her front yard?
OMG.
Yeah. You can, yeah, Salas. So, man, Salas was one of those players I love to hate. Our whole family loved to hate him, and we had a nickname for him that I will not repeat on the air.
Oh, he's one of my favorites. And he was when he played for Rochester.
He
But now he
has just a ton of passion. His left foot is just insane. I kept joking that he was going to put a hole in the back wall of the arena because he kept, when he would launch a ball over the goal, it hit the back wall in Milwaukee Arena a lot.
Yep.
But just, it was fun to watch him get all riled up at Wave Gaming because the fans were just relentless and they wouldn't. He was the Huffman of the time for Milwaukee fans. But someone I'd love to meet in person, I think.
Oh yeah, great guy in person.
Yeah. Did he sign in Florida? Where did he sign?
Salas?
Yeah.
He signed in Utica.
There was talk that he was signing somewhere.
No, Gonzaga signed with Florida.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
No, Salas he was supposed to come back January or February. He has a business down in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
That he was dealing with. And I had heard he was coming back in either February or but then COVID happened. So
Yeah. So Dante said hardest shot in the league. So I've been back and forth on my thoughts on this about having like a skills competition along with the All-Star game. And I think just for Damian Garcia versus Mauricio Salas in the hardest shot contest, I think that needs to happen. I think that would be very, very close.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Salas 100%. Watching him in playing as a Lancer, always just outside of the 3-point arc. Anytime they would pass it to him, like everyone in the arena was just like, "Oh crap, here we go."
Is it going to launch over the nets or is it going to get in the top corner of the goal?
So I'm trying to think who else has a hard shot. Dominic Francis does.
Dom Francis, Richard Schmerman has a very, very hard shot.
Schmerman's got a great.
I didn't even really notice it until he went to Orlando. It's the first time I actually noticed his shot. And I was like, where did that come from?
Who else? Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure we could find a group of, say, 10 of them and have them compete over a weekend a week after the season or so.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a bunch of Mexican players that fall into that as well. Like like Garcia.
Charlie
I think like
Gonzalez.
Ricardinho in Dallas might be in that.
Charlie Gonzalez or Brian Aguilar.
Yes. Vinny Dantas, yes. Tony Donatelli. I mean, there's a lot of who was the I can't even think of his name. Kansas City player Brian
Alvarez?
No. He hasn't played in 3 or 4 years.
Byron Alvarez.
No. Brian.
Elmada.
Not Byron.
Brian Harris?
Yes.
Defender. Yeah.
Yes. He would, as soon as he got the ball anywhere on the side of the half, he was ripping it. And all those stupid goals that were 3 points back then. That's a dumb idea. Whoever thought of that 3-point thing should know that. I never liked that. I don't like it at all.
And now what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, is he's clipping that. So for next Corn Dog Moments, he's going to put that in there.
So I forgot to do any markers for the first like half an hour of the show.
Oh.
So we might.
I don't even think we were funny for the first half hour.
I haven't thought we were funny for the last year, but people still watch us.
Yeah.
I should say I think I'm funny to me, but I know I'm not funny to other people. How's that?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much run the gamut of things to talk about.
Yeah, next week, if all pans out, should be great.
Next week should be a fun show if everything pans out. Looking to have Coach Tozer on next week, hopefully having Shep and JP on the week after. If one of those or both of those falls through, we will have Tommy Tanner on and or Alec. We'll figure out. So between the next 3 weeks, we have a possibility of 4 different groups. Hopefully it's not just you and I talking to each other again. So
it's a possibility.
We know it's definitely possible. I was going to say before, so rumor had it there was some news coming tomorrow. And if you look at the calendar and look at previous years, it could be a free agency announcement. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be more of an open-ended thing like it was last year because of COVID, or if it's going to be the strict, 2 or 3 week period like it was in previous years. I don't know if remember a thought here. I don't know if it's going to be longer term, shorter term. I don't know what's going to happen with unknown of what the teams are going to be. If there are some, players from Mexico who could potentially come up here to play, or vice versa. A while ago, Alec posted, and I completely missed this. I missed a bunch of comments here. Alex says, don't forget the ASL that supposedly has Philly and Chicago lined up. I've heard even less about that than I have the NASL. Other than one news article, and they're going to start 2 years from now.
The ASL?
Arena Soccer League? American Soccer League?
Age, sex, location?
Adams Soccer League? But they're going to have Philly and they're going to have Chicago. Which, right there, Chicago's had plenty of chances to be a top-tier team and couldn't do it. So I don't know why a new league would be different.
It makes no sense. All of these random 2-team leagues make no sense.
I think what happens is kind of like in the Facebook group world of indoor soccer, there are people and personalities in indoor soccer that just don't work well together. They don't want to play together. So, like, we don't want to play with another group. They don't want to play with us. There's leagues. Well, we can do it better. We're going to start our own league. I'm looking at you, Baltimore, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Baltimore.
And then Brad said, how about the possible name change of the league back to MISL? That would be one of the worst uses of money and resources and time that the league could possibly, because that is really only to bring nostalgia back.
Yeah, it's had so many different name changes over the years. Let's just stick with one and go with it.
There's been 3 MISLs that have all failed. Fourth time is not the charm. And
Right.
the marketing is there, the brand is there. I mean, Sydney makes fun of the logo. Oh, it looks like a guy with half an arm or half a leg, blah blah blah, whatever. It's there. It's already done. It exists. The brand exists. Go with it. Don't change the damn league again, because now we can have arguments about the first ever MASL championship or whatever. So
Yeah.
maybe Florida could have their first ever appearance in the MISL playoffs. Oh boy. All right.
No.
I think on that note, we should call it a night.
Yep.
Thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Short and sweet show tonight. We will see you next week, same time, and keep an eye out for any sort of announcement that may come your way tomorrow. Maybe
Maybe.
not.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. On that note,
Yep.
have a good night.
Good night, everybody.